Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a look here at SEI. This is not only a request from my community, but also just a coin that I've been looking at for potential short consideration, especially with Bitcoin kind of testing its low 62,000 range. So you want to be careful taking shorts right now, of course, but it seems to be quite favorable as well. Obviously, you want to be careful not to be a late short, so we're going to double check that and a few other things. I can see somewhat of a rising wedge pattern here forming, and this is not looking good for SEI. Again, generally speaking, when you see the price action work itself into like an ascending channel, it will inevitably break down, which it has already. But what we're going to look at here primarily today is this local range based on daily candlestick closures. And we can see here so far that we're losing that tentative range here. Okay, so we'll look at a few other things here, of course, as well as some back-end liquidation data. So I just asked you quickly hit the like button before we get started. Appreciate you doing that, just so we can get more, get this in front of more people and less moon boys getting those views. Because unfortunately, they tell you everything's going straight to the moon. You watch the video and you left disappointed a few days later. So I'm always going to shoot you straight, kind of tell you how things are. My analysis are usually good for a couple of days in most cases, just based on this being more of a swing trading analysis. I'm not a day trader anymore. I've paid my dues, and while I have day trading signals that are sent out through my community, I don't really bother with that. Those are fully automated. That's a separate thing altogether. So let's take a look here at liquidation for SEI and see. I got a pretty heavy concentration, about 42.5. We're halfway there essentially at this point. But we can also see a lot more left at the 34 to 38 cent range. So just keep in mind, more liquidation on the downside than the upside. These are just based on local lows. So anything below the local low, we're going to see liquidation events occur there, just because people are taking longs. These are high leverage longs here, and these are low leverage longs here. Okay, and then of course macro perspective here, just give you kind of an idea here. 35 cents is that really heavy concentration there. We got a ton of longs right there at that range. Okay, so between now and 35 cents, we got a lot of liquidation to potentially occur. Now compare this to Bitcoin, not quite as much, but Bitcoin is trending towards its 30 billion liquidation at about 61,000. So there's a solid chance we see further downside and more altcoins continue to bleed out. So let's take a look, see if it's worthwhile. It may be too late to short, of course, but we do have a fair value gap here just to kind of touch on this, as low as about 40 cents. So pretty significant margin there. Somewhere between now and then, it's a good extra 7%. We could really see that continue to run. Take a look here. That fair value gap is still present on the daily time frame, as low as this 0.382 fib level, which we technically need to update since the fib levels have adjusted here since we last looked at this. In fact, we'll pull this out a little bit further to kind of look at this trend line, just kind of pay attention to that as well, because we are still working within the trend line, I guess you could say, depending on how you draw that out. Truthfully, this is just today's trend line, so it's super irrelevant for the moment, so disregard that. But the key takeaway here is that the fib levels are starting to align well, in this sense that 39 cent range is that 0.5 fib. That's a likely area of consideration for the price to either bounce or just essentially a good take profit target for a short. Same thing here as well about 36, but that's getting a little more aggressive. Even though we do see heavy liquidation there, we're going to see a lot of support there too. So you want to be careful, shorting your shirt off, so to speak, without regard. Let's take a look here, of course, at the lower downside here. We can see we're still over 50 on the RSI, generally construed as a positive sign, but it does imply we have more range of motion. So the price could still continue to run. Stochastic money flow index are pulling back. MACD is soon to diverge. A lot of reasons why this coin could continue to pull back. But again, you got to clarify here, we're above all moving averages. It's still generally positive. However, they're far away. So we really could pull down to 37 cents and we're still considered to be bullish in the overall trend. Okay, we've lost the 200 SMA. That's generally unfavorable. So I would say there's more bearish divergences here present on the daily time frame, which is generally going to be construed as a negative, and the fact that price action could continue to pull back. Keep in mind, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin and how well it responds here soon. That 62K range is holding, but we make a run towards 61. I think we're also going to see some, if not all, of this fair value gap as low as 37 to 40 cents filled. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. We are below the 20 and the 50-day SMA. That's generally not a good sign. That's what I like to look for to consider a short. We can also see here as well, same thing as well. We lost 50 in the RSI, stochastic pulling back, MACD diverging, trend strength index under 0. All reasons to not take a long position and to possibly consider a short. Now, when I say possibly consider a short, we may be at the bottom here. If Bitcoin recovers a little bit, we might see a bit of a relief here, but there's not much here telling us that we have any consideration for a long. So this is absolutely broken bearish. There's no other way around it. So if you're going to consider a short, just make sure your take profit target's not super aggressive. While there's a distinct probability we will see 42.5 cents. In fact, let's go and refresh this and kind of see. Yeah, we can see we're getting close. Well, that level is probably going to be zeroed out. 42 cents, I think it's inevitable. But 38 to 36 is slightly less likely, depending on how Bitcoin recovers. Right now, Bitcoin's running, so not much else to really say here. So honestly, at this point, it may be too late to short SEI. What you could do is wait for the price action to come back up and to bearishly backtest this local support level. Keep in mind, these support levels are based on daily candlestick closures because SEI has been range bound for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days until now. Okay, we've broken that range. The best thing to do is to wait for a bearish backtest of that trend line and to essentially short into that. Okay, so we'll see here soon, but that's kind of where we're at. Nothing really great here at this point for the market. All right. Hopefully that made sense. I just clarified that correctly. Thank you so much again for watching. I'll clean up our chart here, post on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. So if you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this where I kind of give you potential playouts for coins that I analyze and take trades with. So thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.